Okay.
Hi, Marie.
Hey, Kat.
How's it going?
It's going really well. It's a little busy, but I'm doing well. How are you?
Awesome. Yeah, same here.
Hmm?
Very busy.
Yeah.
Seems like a busy time.
Busy, busy time. Yeah.
So we were gonna do a video for the solstice.
Yes, we are.
The solstice is just that moment where it's like the exact, like it's the half of the year.
Yeah, longest day of the year, right?
Yeah.
And it's has a lot of, I think, power in just being that, like the most openness, right? Versus being like the most closed and darkness. And I also feel like it's been celebrated through centuries that it's a very important, powerful date. And I've heard little rumors that this year it's going to be very extremely powerful. So I'm excited to
Wow.
see where the cards are going to show us in this beautiful.
And you're in Sweden, so you really have like you have
Yeah,
those day like you basically sometimes have the long like no darkness.
correct. Yeah. And we
That's so
celebrated big time too. We celebrate Midsummer, which is like
yeah.
a huge tradition and yeah, it's quite nice.
That's awesome.
Mm.
All right, so let's see what the cards have to say about this powerful. Let's just see what we need to know about this solstice. Oh, two cards wanted to come out. Wow. Oh my gosh, two major arcana. So we
Mm-hmm.
have the Wheel of Fortune
Mm-hmm.
and the Empress.
Wow.
And it's funny because the Wheel of Fortune is actually the card of this year. Like, every year,
Hmm.
2026, the tarot card is the Wheel of
The
Fortune.
Wheel of Fortune. How
And the Wheel
appropriate.
of Fortune is just about basically cycles, lives, like, things changing,
Hmm.
things going up and down. It's often about karma, but it's also often linked to good luck. Um, but I love this card because somebody once told me that for sure, I mean, like, for example, life does go up and down, right?
Yeah,
And it can just be this, sometimes it feels as if you're in this like thing because this card is also about not being able to control, let's say, the ups and downs.
sure.
But you can't really control the ups and downs, but you can control where you are on the wheel. So
Mm,
if you're on the outside of the wheel, you are going to feel those emotions. But if you get to your center, the wheel is going to turn,
mm,
but you will not feel it as much. So it's not like you can change the wheel turning, but you can change where you are on it. And I feel
mm.
like that's a really important lesson of always when I see the Wheel of Fortune. It's just a reminder of that.
Yeah. And also, if let's say you are on the outside, are you trying to be somewhere else than where you are right now? Or are you
Mm.
just like that monkey seems to be like trying to climb to see, oh, where can I be on this wheel? How can I get to a better position? But the
Yeah.
cat is more relaxed and saying, hey, it's okay. I'm just hanging out over here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like even if depending on where you are in the wheel, you can still choose your attitude towards it, your how should I say, how your internal state. I also love how there's things drying. So there's
Hmm.
very much like a harvest type of feeling.
Yeah.
Plus, there's a celebration feeling because you
With
have
the
all those
wine.
liquids and beer in the bottom. So it's like
Yeah.
it's really time to celebrate life. So in this wheel of, fortune, we are now halfway through, and so it's time to really kind of celebrate that we made it this
Yeah.
far, that we've changed this much, and that we really are. It's like kind of like time to relax and harvest all the
Hmm.
good work that we've been doing.
Yeah, and I noticed that too with the wine and it's almost also like kind of remembering that sometimes when we're going through it, I know we've talked about this before, like sometimes when we're going through it, we almost get so caught up into it instead of just remembering to relax and be like, this is the ride,
Mm.
this is like, let me enjoy the ride, let me enjoy the lesson. Of course, that's easier said than done, but there is something about that.
Yeah, for sure. And
And
also, I just want to say one more thing
yeah,
because I was
yeah,
thinking about those animals. So the black cat, it's like, okay, people say that's unlucky, right? Oh, you see a black cat, that's like something to be scared of. which I think isn't true. Black cats are actually extremely powerful and like extremely shamanic animals, you know. Same thing with the snake, which we're afraid of the
Hmm.
snake, but the snake is such a powerful animal in terms of how it can shed its skin and grow and become something different. And the monkey, you know, we call our mind a monkey mind when we think it's too busy. So it's
Hmm.
almost like these animals have a negative connotation. How can we change our view of life so we can view things in a positive matter that we've seen in a negative matter for such a long time?
Yeah, I love that. I do think it's so interesting how we can change that. I listened to a podcast recently and she was just talking about how, for example, we think that what we see is the truth, right?
Yeah,
Because it seems so true. But everything goes through our brain before we actually interpret it.
yeah.
And that's why, for example, these items have a negative connotation for no other reason than people telling you stories about them. But if you grew up and, maybe you would be scared of snake, maybe. But like, would you really be scared of a black cat? And it's
Exactly.
also just a reminder of that we do have that power to rewire our brain. And I was thinking about it sometimes for let's say the things I don't always like about myself, or, you
Mm,
know, I can actually also teach myself to kind of see them in a different way
yeah.
because what I think is the truth and reality is still going through my interpretation. So,
Absolutely. And there's a reason why all of the, you know, witches or shamanic teachers have a black cat because they're very good at protection. You know,
mm,
extremely powerful
yeah,
animals.
yeah,
So it's kind of like if we start to turn those wheels up
yeah.
here and try to make a different sense of the world, have a different filter that we're looking at things through, then we'll start to realize that these are beautiful things.
Well, it's so funny that you're actually even saying that because I find, like, for example, when I was growing up, a witch was like such a bad word. And,
Right?
it's like somebody would say, "Oh, you're a witch." And you were like,
Hmm.
"Oh," like, and now I'm so happy that, I guess it's in my own, like maybe in other people's,
Mm.
algorithms, it's different. But in my algorithm, like people are claiming, like, I'm a
Yeah,
witch. We
yeah,
have covens and it's all this positive witchy things. And
yeah.
I love how it's so, but so that's exactly what we're saying, which is these things that you think are
Mm.
so determined that a witch is
Mhm.
bad, that a witch is
Mm.
this, can actually change. And my
Yeah,
whole conception of what a witch is has changed in the last
yeah,
years.
yeah, yeah. 100%. It's the alchemist, you know, which is
Yeah.
the woman behind there is coming into that picture, right? It's the
Yeah.
alchemist. It's the changer of how you see things.
Yeah, and this card is the Empress, and she for sure is like embodying all the creativity and that kind of abundance that you get often through
Mm.
nature. And I
Mhm.
do think I love how you mentioned that she's an alchemist, and I think that this card is often linked to like our creativity and like transforming things, I guess, through our creativity, but that ab abundance that comes from like, nature and just the flow, being in the flow. And I love how actually with all in this card, there's like those stars,
Yeah,
and yeah, I agree. It's like
beautiful.
maybe
Yeah.
alchemizing these, maybe our perceptions of things,
Yeah. And
alchemize.
also, it's like the the feminine energy is coming through so strongly in this year. So I love how she's showing up, and she looks so regal, you know. She has her eyes towards the future. At least that's what it looks like for me.
Yeah.
And she has this kind of, how should I say? Like she's just so powerful in herself that she can even hide her hands. Like she doesn't need to fight. She doesn't need to be prepared. She's just standing there and absorbing everything. It becomes this kind of receptivity and allowing and just allowing the change that we're going through in this year and being very proud, you know, being proud of what it is that we're going through. Even though it's really hard on some days, it's really difficult. Going back to what I said earlier, you know, we made it through half of the year and we're still here and we should be proud of all the things that we've done.
Hmm. I also like how she looks so calm.
Right.
There's something like again like that. There's like a peacefulness in watching and kind of like going back to what we were saying, which was like just yes, it is a little chaotic right now.
Hmm.
But if you can kind of like maybe grab yourself a drink and like maybe relax into it and kind of, remember to watch it a little bit from that bird's eye perspective. And again, that's where I think it's like getting almost back to the center. It's like so that you don't feel like for sure you're going to feel some of these movements, but again, it's your perspective of it and maybe the way you see it and kind of what we were saying about like how you see these things and even maybe how you see change or how you see chaos, how you feel about it can is something that can you can't necessarily change what's happening, but you can change kind of the way you deal with it.
Yeah. Or
So,
and your perspective of it, because she
yeah.
seems like she's almost suspended in space. Like she's not
Yeah.
standing on anything. She's
Yeah.
just in eternity, in that
Hmm.
space with the
Hmm.
stars, with the moon, with the
Yeah.
cycles, and
Yeah.
she's just fully aware of all of that. And so
Yeah.
she doesn't need to prove herself or to think this or that or to be this or that. She just is, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like then this solstice, we're going to truly step into our feminine energy and for both females and males and allow these changes to happen within us
Hmm.
because we're
Hmm.
moving into an extremely powerful summer in terms of energy. Like June, July, and August is so busy, astrologically speaking,
Oh,
so
really?
strong, so quick moving and so how should I say alchemizing in our energies. So I think this is very appropriate.
Okay, well, so maybe we can ask the next question is just how we could like how we can help ourselves while we're doing this to maybe
Mm.
even help the alchemy.
Yeah, maybe even like how can we do a little ritual for ourselves on the day of the solstice to
Ah,
like
yeah.
help that process through
Okay, that's a great idea.
embodiment.
Okay, well, actually, four cards wanted to come out.
Mm.
Wow. Okay, so we got Temperance. I'm going to discover 'em with you
Mm.
guys.
Mm-hmm.
Temperance. We got the Knave of Pentacles, so the Page of Pentacles.
Mm-hmm.
We got the Eight of Pentacles, another Pentacles.
Wow.
And then we got the King of Wands. Wow.
Wow. A lot of activity in these cards. It's almost like a lot of doing.
Yeah, so we were saying so rituals, like a ritual on the solstice. Wow, that's a
Yeah.
lot. That's a lot.
That's a lot of information. So I see if to me it comes through as if there's a lot of different options. For anyone that's listening, there's not just one thing that you can do. You can
Yeah,
actually choose what you can do. So
yeah,
the last card that came through felt very much nature and performing something in nature. The one with the sewing, she looks like she's actually making something. She's
yeah.
making something for the future, possibly even. So it's almost like, you can either do something in nature or you can actually make something on that day. And the other cards were more,
You
the
can have
second
a
card that
dance.
came
You
through
can go
was
like
having a lot of,
party,
sorry.
a
Yeah,
dance.
having a lot of fun, right? And dancing in the sun, in the moon and sunlight, maybe. And the first card, let me see. Yeah, that felt like spending time with people.
Yeah, and for what I'm getting from this is I know like for example in Norway, I don't know if it's in Sweden too, but like in Norway they have like on the longest day they get into their like really traditional kind
Hmm.
of
Yes.
attire and to me when I
Yes.
see that she seems like she's kind of in some kind of like
Hmm.
traditional kind
Mm.
of something. So maybe there's
Yeah.
like also the community and kind of coming
Right.
together.
Yes.
This one, so then if we just look at the like the meaning of the card, this one's all about balancing things. So
Mm.
maybe like for example, in terms of it's like finding moderation and balance. So maybe there's also like a ritual in that, like kind of balancing or finding something like yeah, maybe balancing the first part of the year with the second part of the year that's
Hmm.
coming.
Yeah.
Um mixing also maybe also mixing it's often sometimes about mixing things that don't always go together, so maybe it could
Hmm.
even be like mixing some friends or doing something that's kind of like doesn't seem like it would go together but then you
Yeah.
do and you make it something else.
Yeah. Agreed.
um And this one is often this card is often about like mastery and doing something over and over. And so maybe the
Mm-hmm.
ritual could be, I don't know, for the second part, like if you're watching this video before the solstice, maybe you could do a couple of things like work going up to the solstice, like
Mm-hmm.
and then like something kind of afterwards. I know that there's like a woman I follow called the Glasgow Witch, and I know like I think for the solstice she does something like 10 days before you start like releasing some ideas into the air, something
Mm-hmm.
like that. So it
Beautiful.
could also be something where it's like a little bit of like a not a routine, but it's like a kind of like
Mm.
a something that you do over like over and
Yeah, yeah,
over.
yeah. To me, it feels very much like handmade also, as if
Mm.
like if you were to knit something or croquet, or you do a little bit each day, like maybe you make something
Yeah,
that leads up into it and then it becomes something else afterwards. Like it feels very physical.
yeah.
Or maybe you're so kind of like creating something with your hands.
But I love your original idea that you found when you saw the first cards, which is in a way, it's like there is no right answer for the
Mm-hmm.
ritual.
Yeah.
It's almost like I think the cards came out because who knows who's watching this video. We're all so
Yes.
different. We all have different ideas and passions and
Yeah.
it's about finding the one that works for you
Mm-hmm.
and the one that feels good for you. So maybe this year you'll do something and maybe even next year you'll do something else. It's just
Yeah.
like almost listening into your own intuition to find what it is that you're going to want to
Yeah, absolutely.
do.
And what came up for me also as we were talking, and this is something that I've done many times, and it's a beautiful ritual where you write something down on a piece of paper. It could be something that you want to let go of, or something that you want to call forth into your life. And then you can release it any way you want. And when I look at the cards, it kind of feels, there's earth and there's air and there's water and there's
Yeah.
so you choose how you release it, and the way that you release it or send it into the universe, it allows you to have a faster return or a slower return. So let's say you
Mm.
take that piece of paper and you bury it in the ground, then it's going to disintegrate, integrate slow. So then you'll get a slow return, which is maybe what you need at the time. Or if you burn it up, it's going to dispense very quickly in the air, and then you're going to get that. Sometimes it's even like, oh, they came back right away, so you have to be
Yeah.
prepared for that. Or you can put it in water and so on. You get the idea, right? And
Hmm.
so then
Hmm.
you get to choose how quickly you want this to come into your life, or how quickly you
Mm.
want to release something.
Mm.
So that's a beautiful way of just a small thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that as as an idea of the solstice and because these moments like it's almost like it doesn't for sure. I mean there's something particular about the solstice, but it's like we don't need the solstice or New Year's to start a New Year's resolution or
True.
do something, but sometimes doing it on a specific day for you is important. And sometimes like when you can start learning about the rituals and kind
Mm,
of like the power of that
yeah. Yeah.
it can be amazing. And I
Yeah.
think especially as you said, like especially if this particular re year is going to be particularly powerful,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
And also, something that you brought up last time was that you sometimes give your cards a moon bath.
Mm,
So
yeah.
giving something important to you, a sun bath on this longest day of the year, can be very powerful.
Yeah.
Like maybe it's a piece of jewelry that you have, maybe it's a deck, maybe it's crystals,
Yeah.
whatever you have that you feel is like, oh, this could really use a little bit of an extra boost, and then that
I
can be.
love that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I actually, now that you mentioned that, there was somebody that I saw that like, for example, on moon baths, she would like put like an intention into some water
Mm,
and then drink the water.
yeah,
And you could do that with the sun too. So like
sure.
you get all that energy, like because it's true, the sun has all that energy and the joy and the light, and you could
Yeah.
put it in some water, have an intention, and then drink that water.
Beautiful.
So
Thank you for that. I think that resonated with me, so that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah.
yeah, I think I'll try that one too. But I love your idea of I might find a little something that needs that little extra spark and give them a sun bath. I
Yeah,
love the sun
yeah.
bath.
Okay.
So shall we end
Amazing.
with just a message of love for the
Sure.
solstice?
Yep.
Okay, well, two cards wanted to come out, two pentacles, interesting. So we got the Four of Pentacles and the Two of Pentacles.
Mm. And together they make
Um,
six, which is the number of love.
oh, interesting. Yeah.
Love that.
That's so cool. And it's
Yeah.
actually funny. It's almost like she's holding up these two to be
Yeah,
like the tree. Like they
exactly.
almost
Because
like form a line.
yeah, and because we are trees as well, right? The tree of life,
Yeah.
that's us also. So I think this is absolutely beautiful. It's the embodiment of, you and the embodiment of the tree, and you're both life, and you're both,
Yeah.
holding up something towards the sun and the moon, and really your feet are there. And in this picture, the arms of the tree looks like arms of a human, and the roots
Yeah.
looks like feet. So I mean, I think this is
And
perfect.
you're so right. Look at there's the she's holding it up to the sun.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Like it's kind
Yeah.
of like what we were just talking about our ritual. And it's
Mm,
interesting because pentacles in tarot have to do with anything that's really meaningful to us.
mm,
And so it's like anything that's long term. So it's not a quick fix.
yeah.
So it's like what we invest in that's like, that needs the work, that needs the time. And
Hmm.
so it's just about maybe thinking about those things
Mm,
and it's almost like thinking about what it is that you want to bring up to the sky. So,
yes.
like to be intentional with that and
Yeah.
to sometimes it's just about thinking about it.
Mm,
It makes it actually just that in itself can already be a huge thing
of
because
course.
you're starting to make it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a beautiful way
It
of,
really is a beautiful message. And for us to really soak in the sun and ground into the earth, just like a tree, becoming
yeah,
that full human being who's centered and in between, yourself and eternity is what I
yeah,
see. So it's a
yeah.
beautiful message of love.
I love that. Yeah. And this card in general also means is this one's talking about stability
Mm.
and kind of like protecting, but also this one's about flexibility and juggling. And so I just feel like there's like that idea of both like stability and kind of like stable and kind of protecting that, but also this kind of energy of movement too,
Yeah,
of
yeah,
like,
yeah.
like kind of shuffling things
Yes.
as they move because,
Exactly. So going
you
back
know,
into that,
yeah,
being both in movement and in the center. So
yeah.
allowing everything and not always thinking that you have to be perfect and you have to,
Yeah.
don't have any expressions of anger or sadness or anything, you have to be balanced. No, that's not true. We're humans and we're
Yeah.
always constantly experiencing everything. So
Yeah.
juggling everything and being okay with it.
Yeah. That's
Mm.
a beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marie.
Thank you.
Happy solstice to you
Yes, and
and
please leave
everybody.
comments below for us if you're resonating with this or if you're feeling like, oh wow, I really want to do that ritual. I would love to hear from people. I think it's so nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
And happy solstice to everybody. May it be
Yes.
a powerful one.
Yeah. Take care.
All right. See you soon.
Bye.